Hey, I'm Melissa from Welcome to the Woods. In my last video, I shared an easy way to build cabinets with pocket holes and wood glue. These cabinets are for a kitchen island. Because I'm building from scratch, I was able to customize everything to maximize storage in a smaller than average space. I built 6 cabinets, 3 rather shallow ones with shelving to go on the backside, 2 drawer stacks, and 1 to house a microwave. While they turned out great in the end, this project was not without struggles. The biggest learning curve came from working with oak for the first time. Cutting red oak required me to buy 2 new blades on my saws, and it was impossible to stain. I set the difficult challenge of matching the finish of my red oak trim and face frames to prefab doors and drawer fronts. In order to neutralize the red oak's pink undertones, I tried dozens of stain combinations before landing on a custom mix that the artist in me concocted with oil paints. The green neutralized the red, and I finally got the stain finish I was going for. Do you think it matches the prefab panels well enough? I've built a lot of things, but nothing tested me as much as this island, as you'll watch throughout this video. Now it's time to install drawer slides on my finished cabinet boxes. I made the boxes flush with the inside of the face frame so that I didn't have to build up any blocking to install my undermount slides. These things are so nice. They're the 21-inch Blum Tandem Plus Blue Motion Full Extension Soft Close Slides. Whew, that was a mouthful. I'm going to work smarter, not harder, and just flip my cabinets on its side to place these perfectly. I measured to make sure they were level, pre-drilled, and screwed them in. It's important to inset the slide at least 1/8 of an inch so your drawer pulls tightly closed. On the drawer I'm planning for under the microwave, I had to use blocking since the box was a lot wider to accommodate the microwave. Everything was going fine until I realized I installed it on the top end instead of the bottom. Whoops. Now let's build the island base. I'm laying my 2x4s flat because I want as minimal space wasted as possible. Utilizing a base will make leveling the island as well as securing it to the floor easier. It's pretty crazy my island is going to be the size of me. Inside my kitchen, here's where the island is going to go. I made it as big as I could, accounting for standard walking path dimensions. The floor in here is crazy unlevel because the foundation under this kitchen is more than 130 years old. I used scrap plywood and shims to level my base, and I screwed it in through the floor with a screw long enough that it would hit the subfloor. My flooring is a glue-down LVP. If it was a click-together floating floor, I would have had to remove it. With one side of the island 1/2 inch taller than the other, it was finally level. I'm not doing a toe kick, but I wanted to show you here that you could turn a 2x4 on its side and build your base small enough to become your toe kick, as long as you plan the height of your cabinet boxes accordingly. Using a base is just a real time saver as it prevents you from having to level each cabinet individually. Next, with the boxes in place, I called my electrician to wire an outlet for the outside panel and inside the cabinet for my microwave. Here's where I realized my next mistakes. The microwave's width is 23.5 inches, and I thought I made my face frame below the exact same, but I messed up somewhere because it had an 1/8 inch gap on both sides. My dry fit also produced the glaring problem of requiring taller trim for the raised end of the island base. Shimming it 1/2 inch higher meant I need 2-inch tall trim, not the 1.5 inch tall oak trim that I had already cut, sanded, stained, and sealed. I'm a perfectionist and decided to make all new. I got numerous materials for this build sponsored, which really upped the quality beyond the plywood I would have used otherwise. Nieu Cabinets gifted me the undermount drawer slides, hardwood drawer boxes, drawer and door fronts, as well as the side panels to complete this island. I can't thank them enough for making this project more successful and durable. Click the link to shop their products in the description. They saved me weeks of work, and their quality is top-notch. Now I've fixed all my mistakes and everything's built, I can set my cabinets. Installing these to the base is easy with pocket screws. I just replaced a few screws that I had used to put together the box with longer screws that went into the 2x4 base. I also added blocking between each box and screwed them together. This blocking method prevented me from having to screw through my face frames to hold everything in place. Next, I put the microwave in place and plugged it in. I'm going to take this moment to invite you to follow me on Instagram and TikTok. I share lots of behind-the-scenes content there. You're missing out if you only live on YouTube. So now I'm going to cover the sides of the island with 3/4 inch thick paneling from Nieu Cabinets. I had to shim it to be completely flush on top and screwed it from the backside into my cabinet boxes. The island is finally starting to look like an island. It's amazing and ready for countertop at this point. I ordered a large slab of plain white quartz counter from a local dealer. I felt simple white would be the most timeless choice for such an expensive purchase. The install guys were impressed with how perfectly level my island was. Now it's time to install doors on the backside of the island to cover my shelving and create hidden storage. These hinges are soft close, 1/4 inch overlay European style, so it means they're hidden when fully installed. The goal here is that the doors just look like paneling and no one knows that they open. For the drawer fronts, my trick to get perfect spacing is carpet tape. I'm going to place a strip of this heavy double-sided tape to the drawer front and then line it up and press. It's strong enough to allow me to pull my drawer out with the front placed properly without shifting. Then I can clamp and screw the front on from behind. And yes, I did eyeball the spacing on every one of these drawer fronts. I have a cabinet hardware jig that helps me perfectly place holes for these long, modern black handles. The finishing touch on the island was installing base trim. Remember how I had to raise one end of my island by 1/2 inch to make it level? This means my trim had to be cut at an angle so that it met a piece 1.5 inches tall on one side and 2 inches tall on the other. Now it's level. I don't always have confidence in my abilities, especially working with oak and staining a piece instead of painting, but I always say DIY is courage over confidence. And wow, am I glad that I had the courage to take on this big build. I love the way the island brings a warm wood tone to my kitchen design and so much more functionality. Let's talk about some of the features I incorporated in my custom island build. First, the microwave, of course. It's so nice to have my microwave off the counter, but you might not have realized that this one is a drawer. You access it from the top. It's super accessible even though it's lower down in a base cabinet. My drawers, I added bamboo organizers to keep things tidy, and you'll notice my 2 pull-out cutting boards that I incorporated for efficient meal prep. The deep drawers I designed to perfectly fit things like cereal boxes and even my largest pans. I seriously cannot get enough of the soft close. The shelves hidden on the backside seriously expanded my kitchen's storage capabilities. I put things here that we don't use very often, as well as extra pantry staples. I even designed the shelves in one cabinet to fit 2 cans stacked on top of each other exactly, so as to not waste any space. The 4 receptacle outlet on the side of the island brings so much more functionality to the countertop, as we often plug in the bread maker or the griddle here. Overall, having this island has transformed the usefulness and efficiency in my kitchen, a place where I spend many hours preparing food and eating with my family every day. The overhang for stool seating goes on 2 sides of the island. I purchased gold stools to go here, but I really need your help. Now that the wood tone is up against the gold, I feel like it doesn't look quite right. I love the natural oak wood grain on the island finish, but would stools that have a black base rather than gold look better? Let me know in a comment below. And thanks as always for watching. Welcome to the woods.